Aloha, I'm Desmond Hakias. I'm the host of Healing with Aloha Podcast, located on the island of Kauai. On this podcast, we talk about healing, we talk about grief, we talk about passion, and we talk about, you know, we are always going to go through something. And sometimes we just need to feel hopeful and to know that we're not alone. Today, my special guest is Diline. She's the author of the healing book called Feel, Heal, Love. And it's about reflections on finding your true self through loss. Diline lives in Scotland and works on supporting refugees settle into their new home and overcome their traumas. With further ado, guys, this is Diline. Hi.
Hello, Deslan. Thank you for having me. It's an honor for me to be here.
Thank you for joining me. I'm all the way from Scotland. Who would have known that I'd meet someone from Scotland? I wanted you to share, with everything that's going on in the world. You came up with this book, Feel, Heal, and Love. What led you to writing this book? Because it's something that is so close to your heart in dealing with loss. Can you share with people what prompted you to write your book?
Nice. So yeah, absolutely. I felt, as you were saying, and the past 2 years, everybody in so many ways experienced loss in so many aspects of our lives, loss of security, loss of routine, if you like, that's like was like a comfort zone of so many people, loss of loved ones, also loss of health. It was so many, we experienced loss in so many ways, and I felt I wanted to do something and during this time to give people hope and to boost their positivity and just let them see the light in the middle of all this chaos, if you like, and to make them aware that this is life, and as it is, as loss is part of life, we need to have ways of healing ourselves and dealing with this in a good way for our souls, for our hearts, for the world around us as well, which is really important to find peace.
Yeah, no, and I think that's important. One of the things that you and I were talking about is when you're dealing with loss, and it's an ongoing process. Yeah, it's not something like a lot of times. We grew up in a society, we want something quick fix. We want everything to be okay now. And I think that that's the beauty of what you're sharing, is that it's an ongoing process in the healing, and there's no exact timeline for everybody, that we're all going to be at different places. And that's something that you acknowledge in your book.
Yeah, absolutely. So humans, we want, like a quick solution. We get anxious quickly if there is some sort of accident or some sort of loss or tribulation we go through. We want like a quick solution, or we get really, we feel like we have to react quickly to how to deal with this, what's going to happen, why is this happening, like thinking that that's it, this is the treatment and that's us, we need to move on. But no, because this is the life. Loss, tribulations are part of life, if not at the heart of life. So that's why we need to always have this intentional and conscious healing process that helps us through this life, even if it's like sometimes a small disappointment that happened during the work day, or like something happened to our loved ones or something like that. We need to learn how to deal with this and let it out in a good way, that it doesn't get only stuck like here. I like to, because this is how it feels when you don't deal with something that shocked you, that traumatizes, that you it feels like something is stuck in your throat, and it goes from the throat and it can affect your whole body. So no, we need to learn some small, it could be small things, but it can help in a continuous way when we do it intentionally and consciously to help ourselves and to find peace within, like in a constant way, even so. And it will make us, whatever we face in life, we're not gonna find it repulsive. We're gonna respond to it in a peaceful manner, and we'll find contentment in that situation, whatever it was.
Yeah, no, I agree. That the ability to connect to peace, with things that's going on in your life. What are some of the tools that you share that you find that has been helpful for people? We were talking about nature and then art.
Yeah. So the things, I mean, the book starts like to show people how the first stages of dealing with loss. So, and one of the things that I noticed with people who experienced loss that I work with, or I know from my life, that they can face it with a sort of denial. And this could be one of the worst things that anyone can do to themselves. But it could be like an automatic reaction. It's like we don't want to believe this is happening, so we act of some sort of denial. And this is, I advise in the book that we should avoid that as we can. We need to acknowledge that we're going through this thing, whatever loss it was, and it is a difficult thing, it is a shock, and we need to acknowledge it, to actually know that we acknowledge this, we accept it, but we need to deal with it. Because if you don't acknowledge it, you don't want to believe it, you're not gonna make action, you're not gonna go through this conscious, intentional healing work, if you like. So that's really, really important. Acknowledge it, accept it, and then start to release it. So releasing this pain, whatever helps you. Tears is a good tool. Sometimes even watching a sad film for the sake of these tears to come out is a really, really good tool to purify yourself for this pain to get out of your throat, your whole body, your whole system. Crying is a good tool. Also, things like walking is really, really a helpful tool that will help you, get rid of these also anxieties, get rid of this burden of the shock, of the trauma, of all these overwhelming emotions. Walking will be a great tool to actually help you find calm. Any physical activity really, but there is something about walking that it just helps you find the calm, and you become really calm and peaceful. But at the same time, you're helping your body to process this shock, to process this trauma. Yeah, and walking with in nature, that's an extra bonus. Whatever outdoors you're having, whatever surroundings, mountains, water, beach, anything nature will really, really help you go back to this true self, because we are all part of this universe. We're part of the ground, of the air, that sometimes, before going through this loss, before going a trauma or a shock, we're kind of just too busy in our lives to actually reflect and connect with these things and to see the beauty around us. So after going through this trauma or loss, it could be, if we see it this way, a wake-up call that actually bring us back to who we truly are. and see ourselves, rediscovered ourselves and the talents we have, and actually connected with nature, with the ground, with the water, with the air, breathing, mindful breathing. It all helps us a lot to process the pain in a
Mhm.
positive way, but at the same time connect with things and talents that we had, but maybe forgot about, or got busy to actually make use of them. So that's another way. Also, yeah, art is a magical tool to actually heal yourself and process the pain and let it all out, release it all. Especially painting has a magic. I mean, any kind of art really helps, but painting has this magical joy of mixing the colors. Sometimes even the colors can represent the sort of sadness or state of mind you have. You can mix them, and that represents this kind of pain you're going through. And when you do it mindfully also, that will be an extra help, and it'll just help calm this storm within you. It'll help it all sit still and calm. You'll feel, look, this is a physical thing. This is the pain, and that's it. I got it out of me. So I'm finding peace with it, you know? So it's like evidence for you that you're actually doing this. You're actually have this self-love, that you are doing this for your own self. You're
Mhm.
compassionate to yourself and letting it all out on paper. And sometimes it doesn't need to be, the painting doesn't need to be uh, represent a negative thing. Sometimes from pain you can create actually beauty, beautiful paintings out of this pain. And it just shows how, yeah, sometimes things within us needs to break to actually bring the, what is the word, like the beautiful smell within us. It's just, I don't know, this example just came to me, like I don't know if it have ever happened to you, but like a perfume, a glass of perfume, when it breaks, it's just the whole beautiful smell comes out, and it just goes out and stays for a long, long time. And I'm
It
like,
lingers. Yeah.
this had to happen, so the beauty of this perfume come out and just spread in the world. And this is exactly, I mean, we can see our pain or our broken heart as maybe this is actually happening for us to actually bring the best out of us. And when we deal with this and releasing this pain in a good way for us.
No,
Yeah.
no, I feel that what you're saying is sometimes when we deal with loss, and we feel broken because a part of us is gone, because you have a connection to someone, um, that as you process healing, as you go
Mhm.
through it, and you're able to go within yourself, uh, sometimes it brings out sides of you, beautiful sides of you, that allows you to look at life differently,
Yeah.
and to be able to connect with people in ways that maybe you weren't able to, but because you're more in touch with
Mhm.
your thoughts and your feelings and whatnot, as you go through it, it may not be something that's right away, like when you're dealing with the loss, it may not be right away, but
Yeah.
as you progress, then it allows you to connect. Like, the best way to explain is like, because I've dealt with loss,
Mhm.
trauma, and also I'm able to understand people when they express their sadness or their pain and their grief, um,
Yeah.
just by looking at them. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
being able to hold space for people is
Mhm.
it's beautiful. Whereas if you never went through your own um, experiences with loss, it's harder to have that compassion and empathy for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And that's one of also the things that going back to our true self of, doing our part to the whole humanity, because I feel, I mean, yeah, before going through a big shock in our lives, we're too busy, maybe focused with ourselves more than, the outsider world around us. We're too, don't want to say selfish, but just our own small world. This is our own concern, if you like, before going through loss. But yeah, as you were saying, after going through loss, definitely you become more compassionate. You will have more empathy towards others, and that's a big blessing. You become really more human, because this is what we're here to do. We're not here just for ourselves. We're here to share, and we're here to help others. And this makes life more meaningful when we become in more service to our fellow human beings in the world. And yeah, going through loss definitely can wake this up within us, that the the want of wanting to do more for this world, and do our bit, and instead of playing victim, which I also talk about in my book. We avoid victimizing ourselves, because this can be, again, the automated reaction that anyone who can go through loss can, the want or the need of feeling victim, and saying to everyone else, I'm victim, look, I lost this, I lost that, I lost a loved one, I lost this, I feel lost, do. So this is like the automated reaction. But we can reprogram this and try to see, instead of why this happening to me, oh, I'm a poor thing, no, we can actually say, what is this is trying to tell me? Why did I lose this person? Why did I lose this thing? Why am I feeling in a case of chaos or loss at this moment? What is the message behind it? And when we dig deep and be truthful and honest to ourselves, we can actually find that this is actually happening for the sake of us to to grow in life, really. And it's exactly, I feel it's exactly like a seed, and this is again connecting with nature. It's like a seed. I mean, a seed, if we didn't bury the seed and in the darkness and the ground, it's going to be like a stone, and it's going to dry out and go away, and that's it. But when you bury it, it's going to grow and bring beautiful tree and beautiful fruit. And this is exactly what I feel, because when you go through loss, you can feel really lost within. But if you try to see, there is a message behind this. Maybe I'm going through this loss, which is, let's see, like loss is the burying in the ground, and then maybe I'm going through this to actually flourish and bring out goodness to myself and to humans around me. If we see it this way, it can be a game changer for us, and it'll help us heal in a better way, really, and make this healing process a more joyful one, because we are linked to a cause, we are linked to a purpose.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because you're talking about like the tree, and I see your tree in the background in your painting.
Oh yeah. I
But
love
I
trees.
think like even like when you think about like a tree, it takes time for it to grow,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and
exactly.
and then eventually, like as it continues to grow, um, the branches open wide, you
Yeah.
know. Well, it depends on what kind of tree it is, right? And
Mhm.
then it provides some kind of way, like shading, like you know uh a place for like animals to live and whatnot. And sometimes like when we're going through um our loss, and we're trying to find our way to heal, and whatnot, it doesn't feel like it makes sense, and there's no purpose for it.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just going like moment to moment, and knowing that the tree doesn't just appear, like it takes time. And
Yeah.
so I can see like what you're saying is it's valuable for us to know that, it loss is it you feel like you're in a dark place,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in due time, like, you'll find your way to come out from it. um and and it may not be right away, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
may
It
be
needs.
years. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, like I try to explain to people. When
Yeah.
you're on a journey, your grief journey, um you can't compare your journey to someone else's, because
Mhm.
the way we
Yeah.
process things is going to be different. So like when you're sharing this, I don't think you want people to know that it's right away, but
Mhm.
like it's something that's ongoing,
Mhm.
but it starts, you got to start somewhere. And so like you said, like it's a seed that you put in the ground of a tree, and then it grows and it continues
Yeah.
to grow, but it's not
Yeah.
something that's right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And from that, we will learn, because the seed, obviously, it's not going to flourish from nothing. It needs lots of care, needs watering, it needs looking after. So that takes us like to the self-care part also through this healing journey. And actually make we need to make it at the center of this experience, to be always compassionate to ourselves, and don't never judge ourselves if we all of a sudden we felt the need of crying, all of a sudden we felt overwhelmed, or what's going on, I thought I passed this stage. No, we need to be patient and compassionate to ourselves, and just whenever this is happening, or for example something could trigger something within us, we don't respond to it in or react rather than respond. We don't react to it in a negative way. We just go back to ourselves, ask ourselves, be truthful to ourselves. Okay, why did I feel this way? What did this make me happen? And this is the right response of dealing with it, reflecting, and then realizing, okay, this I felt this way because this triggered this and this within me. And then try to go to ourselves, to our hearts, and give it some compassion. Do something that we makes us feel better. Go for a walk, have a cold bath, whatever helps you. But don't judge yourself whenever you get triggered, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel things are going bad. No, just give yourself compassion. No, it's gonna take time, and it's gonna so you learn self-care, but you also learn, you become a better patient person, because this process needs a lot of patience. And patience is a beautiful thing, but it needs a lot of effort. It's not an easy thing, but with time, the more you practice it, the more you feel peace and joy when you actually are patient and are waiting for something good to happen, waiting for the healing journey to become better and better with time. So patience is key. And without patience, this life is really meaningless, because you're not going to really achieve anything if you're not patient with yourself, you're not compassionate with yourself. Um, so that's a really important bit, to learn patience, to learn to to practice, waiting for the good things to happen, for this growth journey to be fulfilled in a positive way, uh, always in a positive thoughts, and expecting the best to happen, uh, which all takes time. So waiting with peace, really, without, okay, when is it going to happen, I had enough. So no, just learn patience and learn that always there is a gift after patience.
Yeah, no, and I think that that's important to acknowledge. Patience is not something that a lot of us were taught, and is not something a lot of us felt from people we love. People sometimes they expect us to get through things faster, and so with each individual, we have to know like what we can handle and what we can't handle, and
Yeah, yeah,
how we process things may take longer than other people, and just knowing how to communicate that I know you want me to be here, but this is where I am too. You know what I mean? Not everybody will understand why. Like sometimes we feel like we're so slow in
mm-hmm.
in the process, but what you're saying is to have compassion on yourself, to love yourself enough to know that your timeline doesn't have to match up to other people's timeline for
Yeah,
yourself.
absolutely, absolutely. I agree. Yep, yep.
So I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us, and just sharing what you've learned and why you wrote the book, and the importance of feeling. Even though initially we may not be ready to feel, when we're dealing with a loss, there's different types of losses, but when we're ready to feel, and then we can learn to like love ourselves and to have compassion, and to be patient in the process, because it's an ongoing thing for the rest of our lives. We're going to be experiencing different types of losses and whatnot, and so I really appreciate you sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, yeah, I just feel, yeah, it's really, really important for everyone who's hearing us to take this journey as always like intentional and conscious journey of healing, and know that when one heals themselves, they actually become a part of healing the whole universe around us. Because I do believe that, when we have more people having peace within, we will witness more peace in our outer world, which we all obviously pray for. So I want each one of us to take this message home and actually try and put it into practice into their daily lives, and do the things that helps them feel better about themselves, because that also will make the generation after them, their families, when they make families, they will, make more peaceful families. It'll affect the whole area they live in, and then, as I said, the whole world. So it's an important journey, going through healing and doing healing work all the time, and see it as a beautiful, joyous journey, and not judge themselves for doing it. Actually reward themselves for doing it, because it's really, really important. And yeah, I just want to thank you for this lovely interview. It's been really lovely talking to you. And yeah,
Thank you. Diline, can you tell everybody where can they find you on Instagram?
yes. So I'm at Diline Writing. You can find me there, and you also can find the book on Amazon. It's easy to find. Feel, Heal, Love. And it's really, really, I feel it's a really powerful message and easy to follow. I really wanted it to be like a conversational kind of book, no like complicated language or anything. So you'll find it as a friend talking to you. And I really pray that it's going to be really helpful in your healing journey.
Oh yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm glad that you wrote the book. And like you said, when we can work on healing within ourselves, we can pass it on to other people, the value of them to start to acknowledge and to start healing,
Yeah,
and it's a ripple effect in the universe, that
yeah,
we all
absolutely.
have the ability to be intentional on processing and healing. So guys, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us today. If you
My
haven't
pleasure.
already, subscribe to Healing with Aloha, follow Diline, get her book and, share with others that you feel that would benefit from it. And thank you so much, guys. And we wish you guys only the best and aloha.
Thank you.